Welcome back, everybody, to the Nosebleed Sports Podcast. I'm Chris Witt. Alongside me, as always, is my cousin Adam Schmidt. Adam, how are you today?
Spectacular. How are you?
If I was any better, I would be you. So we got a lot of good stuff to go through today. We're focused mainly on Mr. LeBron James as we both went to the Pacers-Lakers game last night. So we'll get into that. The Super Bowl was last Sunday. That was pretty non-super, but it was still a bowl. And Tom Brady did his thing as usual. What else we got? We got a little NBA. There's some rule changes in the Major League Baseball coming that may be coming down the line.
Possibly.
Yeah, so pretty excited about that. So we got a few things to get into. As always, you can catch me and Adam on Facebook live every Wednesday. The Nosebleeds goes live every Wednesday, 10:30-ish. You can catch us on afterwards Thursday morning, starting Thursday morning on SoundCloud, CastBox, YouTube, Apple Podcast, iTunes, and there's a new one that we're on now, Spotify.
Hey!
Look out. Yeah, we got Spotify up now. And come March 1st, will be, I finally figured it out, iHeartRadio.
Hey, nice work.
It took a little bit of time, but I figured out, it's going to be a month away, but we'll, you'll be able to catch us on iHeartRadio. So let's go ahead and get into it. So first and foremost, we here at the Nosebleed Sports Podcast, we like to do a little thing. We like to do a little interactive poll with our listeners, and we're currently in the best nicknames in the NBA.
That's correct.
What happened this past week?
Well, my good friend Larry Joe Bird, who holds nicknames such as the Hick from French Lick, Larry Legend. He took on Sir Charles Barkley, who has nicknames such as Sir Charles and the Round Mound of Rebound.
The Round Mound of Rebound.
Just like if they played one-on-one in the 80s.
How bad was it?
Larry ran away with it 81% and 19%. The Hick from French Lick
dominates
the floor with the Round Mound of Rebound there. So
what do we got coming up this week?
We've got the number 5 seed Pistol Pete Maravich versus the number 12 seed the Admiral.
Nice.
David Robinson.
I like it.
The kindest person on the face of the earth.
I like it.
Yeah.
The kindest man on the I say all the time, my wife makes fun of me because I always say that's the nicest guy I've ever met.
Yeah.
No, legit, that's the nicest person. And she's like, that's like 470 people that are the nicest people you've ever met.
Mm-hmm.
I just like nice people, man.
Nice people are great.
Speaking of nice people, just joining us here on the Facebook Live was Mr. Alex Cole. I believe something big happened with him as coach, correct?
Alex is the head coach of the, I hope he doesn't mind us saying, the 7th grade Ross Rams, who won the SWAC tournament championship tonight, back-to-back titles for Alex's.
Here's the deal, Alex. If you don't
crew.
like it and you didn't want it out there, we apologize. But, dude, that's big time, man. Congratulations to you.
It's going to be on iHeartRadio now. It's going to be on
It'll take a little bit of time, but it'll get there. All right, so let's get started, man. Let's get straight into it as I crack open my first beverage.
That's how we know we're getting started.
Oh,
we're really getting started when you crack open the old
can.
Cola.
Open the can. All right, so what are we gonna start with today? You want to start with the Super Bowl? You want to get the Super Bowl out of the way?
Let's get it out of the way. Football's done.
Football's done. The Super Bowl was less than super. Probably if you watched it on your own, I would assume you more than likely fell asleep.
Yeah.
If you went to a Super Bowl party, you probably just focused on what the score was and kept looking to see what numbers could possibly come up.
Because Super Bowl squares.
Super Bowl squares was pretty much the only exciting thing that was going on during the Super Bowl, if you ask me.
It was interesting because it was not a high scoring game. It was a very, very low scoring game. In fact, I believe the lowest scoring game in Super Bowl history. And
the first Super Bowl ever to not have a touchdown going into the fourth quarter.
Yeah, there was one play in the entire game ran in the red zone.
And it was a run for a touchdown.
That's exactly what it was for the Patriots. The only touchdown of the game. So it wasn't exciting as far as scoring goes.
So you're telling me that the new NFL, the high-flying, big-scoring NFL that oh my gosh, the Rams-Chiefs week that we heard of, this is the new NFL. You're telling me that this was the lowest scoring, the best defensive Super Bowl ever, huh?
That's correct. And
I'm so happy about that. I was so mad when it happened. I was sick and tired of hearing everybody talking about the new NFL. It was one game. One game.
Yeah. There were some really high-scoring games. The Chiefs are so much fun to watch and all that good stuff. But let me tell you what. When you think of the New England Patriots, who, by the way, won the Super Bowl, ninth time visiting, sixth championship, I believe, right?
Yeah.
So the New England Patriots won. When you think about them, you think about what? Tom Brady, Bill Belichick, some of their wide receivers over the years.
Julian Edelman, Wes Welker,
Randy Moss.
Right. Brandon Cooks.
Right. Chad Johnson, obviously.
Brandon Cooks. I think Brandon Cooks was wrong.
Brandon Cooks was he's a Ram, right?
He's a Ram now, and he was a Saint before that.
Yeah. So anyway, you think of their offense because you think of Tom Brady mostly. Yeah. Their defense won them a championship.
It sure did. Congratulations to their defense. The Rams' defense was phenomenal as well.
It was.
It was. I mean, it was. The Rams' defense was what they've done all year. They really stopped Tom Brady. They stopped that Pats offense. It was one drive they were able to score on, and here we are.
So that's the thing. So we kind of talked about that a little bit last week before the game, and talked about, okay, if the Rams' defense plays great. But what? Okay. Let me start over and say, do you feel like that game was more poor offense or good defense? Great defense.
I'm gonna go with great defense because I think both teams are very good offenses. I think it was just really good defense.
Yeah, and we started this whole little segment talking about how boring it was and stuff, and that's what people have been talking about. But
right.
Truly, I think we both feel like we both appreciate great defense, and during that game, it was very impressive. Both defenses were very impressive, especially New England's. It was. I really did appreciate that. And it wasn't as boring.
Game. No,
yeah, it wasn't as boring to me as I think
it was still it was still a little boring, but that's okay. It was still exciting. It was a Super Bowl. The Super Bowl's fun, and Big Boy came out and did his thing. Travis Scott, I think, was terrible at halftime. Maroon 5, I don't know. I'm hoping that this Adam Levine dude, that he was like when he was doing the Moves Like Jagger song, that he was purposely trying to dance like Mick Jagger, and that's not how he dances in normal time.
I got to be honest with you. I was half at best paying attention during the halftime.
Oh, man. Halftime?
And the commercials, to be honest with you.
So, halftime show is one of my favorite things about the Super Bowl. Lady Gaga killed it. Was that last year or 2 years ago? Yeah, it was last year.
God awful. Anyway.
For real? Oh, man. I thought she was amazing. Anyway, speaking of halftime shows, pretty sure we figured out we were at the pace. We're done. That's the end of the Super Bowl.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, you like that transition?
Yeah, I love it actually.
So speaking of the halftime Super Bowl show, we were at the Pacers game last night. They played Los Angeles. Our next poll. I think we've decided.
We're going to start right in the middle of our whole experience.
No, we're not doing it now. We're just giving people a little sneak peek of what the Nosebleed Sports Podcast is going to do after the best nicknames in NBA history. Okay. They're going to go into all-time great halftime shows.
Halftime shows, NBA specifically?
I'm thinking we're going just basketball in general. Basketball halftime acts, not shows, acts, because we got I mean there's going to be some big ones. We saw Red Panda last night, which we both decided she's everywhere all the time. Anywhere we go to watch a basketball game, she's on the court flipping bowls. I've never seen her drop a bowl. She's amazing, but I'm pretty sure there might be 15 of her.
That's the real Super Bowl, by the way. Anytime Red Panda performs, that's the real Super Bowl.
That's the real Super Bowl. I like
that.
Good job.
Yeah, we did agree last night that Red Panda, when we saw her last night, did not look like Red Panda the last time we both saw her.
No,
right?
I feel like there was something a little different about her. She's I don't know what it is, but there's definitely something different about her last night. She didn't look like she did the first time. The first 8 times I've seen her.
Yeah.
But she still performed. Same music. Same dance, like upward hand motions. I mean, she killed it. She still, if this was Red Panda 1 or Red Panda 12, she killed it.
It's like
how many Undertakers were there?
yeah, Undertakers. Yeah, when people have a dog and it dies, and then you get the same exact kind of dog, and you name it Rover 2 or whatever.
Rocco 2.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know, but Red Panda was fun. She's always fun to watch.
So anyway, that's going to be our next poll. That goes into we really wanted to get into today. So we went to the game yesterday. I got tickets for my birthday because we all know if you're a Nosebleed Sports Podcast every week listener, you know how much I love LeBron James. I'd have his babies. I let him have my babies. However you want to make it. LeBron's my man. So that being said, we got tickets to the closest place LeBron could get to us, which was Indianapolis. And LeBron proceeded to go through with the worst loss in his history. 42 points he lost by last night. It was terrible.
It was actually entertaining.
It was entertaining in so many ways.
If you appreciate what the Pacers did, then it was very entertaining.
The Pacers did without Victor Oladipo. I'm telling you, this Miles Turner kid is a game changer inside. And I know LeBron got one dunk on him, and that was nice. But I think he had 4 blocks in the game, all big blocks. He changes everything when people get into the paint.
Yeah, he's played really, really well this year, and he's kind of been like, I don't know, this is maybe his 5th year or something like that, and he's kind of been, he was almost kind of a bust for a couple years there, and then because I think people got excited about him his first and second year, and then he kind of leveled off. It didn't seem like he really got much better, and then this year he's playing lights out. So
he's shooting the ball real well, especially from outside, which that's probably the big thing that gets him moving. So super excited. You're gonna have to keep track of the Facebook today because my iPad is dead. So anyway, as we talk about that, the Pacers game was fun. So there's a fun little story. Swipe left, swipe right.
There are several fun stories about last
swipe
night.
left, swipe right. Cheering sections at NBA games.
Swipe right.
Big time right.
I swipe right on that.
The greatest cheer I ever heard. Anytime there was a Laker on the line. I shouldn't say any Laker. Any Laker that's been involved in the trade rumors with Anthony Davis,
which is everyone.
They would chant at him at the free throw line, "LeBron will trade you." It was absolutely hilarious.
It was. I had a hard time with it just because I just felt like if I'm LeBron, I'm super embarrassed by
Did you
that.
see him? He was sitting at the end of the bench, nobody near him. There was 3 empty seats at the end of the bench next to him. Like, that dude, I don't know. I felt bad for him. I felt worse for those guys on the free throw line, knowing that at any moment, I gotta be the nicest guy to LeBron because he's gonna tell them to trade me.
Well, I don't think that the
come on
200 people in the cheering section at the Pacers game is going to get to those guys at all. I think they probably are. It is probably in their heads a little bit.
It's already in their head.
Sure. But the Pacers fans didn't do anything to him. In fact, Brandon Ingram said, "Yeah, I heard him. I still made the free throws. Who cares?"
I don't think they really cared if they made or missed the free throws.
No,
it was just a really funny chant.
It was just trying to get into their heads.
LeBron will trade you.
Yeah, I don't know. I did feel bad more than anything. I kind of felt like, man, if I'm LeBron, I've got this stigma about me that's like, of course, people joke about that stuff all the time. Like LeBron is the GM of any team.
He is. He's the GM. He's the coach. I mean, the next joke was everybody was saying that Luke Walton's going to be. Well, Luke, you said it to me.
He is. Yeah.
You said it to me. Will Luke Walton be fired? We were driving to the game. Will Luke Walton be fired before the game or after the game?
Yeah, you said after the game, which you were correct because he wasn't.
He's still there.
He wasn't fired before the game. So anyway, as a matter of fact, I ran out just like a minute before the game got over. I ran out to try to grab a water from the concession stand. It was already closed. But anyway, walking back to my seat, this guy, this Lakers fan's walking out by himself, and he just says out loud to nobody, "Well, Luke Walton's getting fired now." Because they lost by 42 points. Because he was already on the hot seat because LeBron's team, not the Lakers, his personal team, already said they aren't interested in Luke Walton being the coach anymore there.
The L.A. LeBrons.
How
about his kicks, dude? Them all yellow kicks he had on last night?
Yeah, well, he was a Pacers fan, apparently.
He's getting rid of those.
No, to shift gears that way, though, the Pacers played about as well as you can play.
Oh, yeah.
And I feel like they play that way every time I go to a game. They always, it's like a culture there. They always pass the ball really well. They always shoot the ball really well. They don't have any, like Victor Oladipo was an all-star this year, and he's not going to play in the game, obviously, because he's out for the year, but that's their only star. Everybody else, the Corey Josephs, Tyreek Evans, Edmund Sumner's.
Yeah, Edmund Sumner career night last night. How about that Xavier alum?
Xavier fans, yeah.
Is he a Xavier alum? Can you be an alum if you never graduated?
I feel like you have to graduate, don't you?
So then he's just an ex-Xavier player?
He's just the former Xavier Musketeer, yeah.
All right. Former, I like that way better. You always word things so much better. Speaking of, I feel like I gave you a really good compliment just now. Like, you're kind of a cute guy. I'm going to say something really nice to you. Adam Schmidt is in line at the Pacers game to get ice cream. So he gets up there. I went and got a beer, came over, stood next to him. He's ordering his ice cream, and he says, "I'm going to have chocolate chip cookie dough." It was birthday cake cookie dough with ice cream on top and sprinkles. Well, first he said that, and I said, "That sounds amazing." And the lady looked up at me and said, "Oh, do you want sprinkles and chocolate too?" And I said, "Why would he not want that?" So as she proceeds to make said ice cream, she brings it out to us. She brings it to Adam in a bowl. I got he's standing next to him, and he grabs a spoon, and she says, "You can grab 2 spoons so you guys can share." She 100% thought that we were at the game as a couple.
Yeah. Well, we were there as a couple, but not a romantic.
She didn't
couple.
think that we were heterosexual. How about that?
Yeah, that's the feeling I got after she suggested that we and if I was thinking on my feet, which I never do, if I was a witty person, I would have said, "Oh no, we'll just share this one spoon."
Exactly. I feel bad I didn't catch on, or else I 100% would have played.
I know if you would have heard that, you would have jumped right on that thing. But yeah, that was a very funny.
Oh man, it was hilarious.
Very funny story.
What else happened at the Pacers game? That was good. What else happened?
So when we got there when the gates opened. So we were way early, right? So we went in. We went into I think it's called the home court, the Pacers gift shop.
Oh,
basically.
the gift shop. Yeah.
So we walk in there, and we walk in from inside the arena after we already got in, and you walk in. It's like it's like a club kind of up. There's like a bar up top and a little section with kids stuff up top.
And then there's stairs that go down.
You walk down the stairs and walk, and then the whole thing is down there. They've got it's pretty big. So we're walking down the steps to go to like the biggest section of this thing, and these people were walking up the steps opposite of us, and this guy says something like, "Hey," and
he tapped me on the shoulder.
Yeah.
He kind of gave me a little punch on the shoulder. Not a punch, but, closed fist, little bump on the shoulder.
Yeah, like, hey!
Gave me a little head, getting my attention, gave me a little head nod. So I looked over at him and I said, "Hey, what's going on, brother? How are you? Good to see you." And kept walking.
Because you didn't really know what he said.
I had no idea what he said. I had no idea who he was.
But he acknowledged you as if he knew you.
Oh, 100%.
And I was the same way. I heard him say something, and I thought it was something like, "Hey, Whit," or something like that. Like, it seemed like he knew you.
Right.
So I'm like, oh, okay. But I didn't exactly hear the words. So you turn around and in perfect Chris Whit fashion, acted like you guys have been best friends for years, and and I thought you were gonna hug him, and
if I wasn't walking down the steps, I would have stopped to talk to him.
So as we start walking away from this guy, and you guys exchange pleasantries, I realized, like, it hit me a few seconds after he actually said it. He said something like, "Go Xavier."
Because I had a Xavier shirt on.
Yes.
I had a Xavier shirt on.
So that's what he was saying to you. And you had no idea, neither did I at the time. And you just were like, "Hey, man, how's it going?"
I thought he knew who I was, and I was just being nice to make it seem like I knew who he was.
Yeah.
And I guarantee, because I looked at Adam and said, "I have no idea who that guy was." I know he turned around and said, "That guy thinks he knows me."
Yeah. Oh, that's one of those things.
That was a good one.
Kind of a similar thing happened to me. A couple weeks ago, I was in a UDF, and I'm standing there in line to buy whatever I was buying, and there's a guy sitting over, like, they have tables and chairs over by the ice cream thing or whatever, and this guy stands up from across the store and is looking over at me, and he kind of looks a little familiar, and he, like, waves, and he, like, kind of starts walking toward me a little bit, and I'm like, "Dude, do I know this guy?" So I, like, kind of like just barely lift my hand and do a little wave, and, like, I can tell my face has one of those, like, half smiles, but I don't know because I don't know. And as soon as I lift my hand and wave to him and try to act exactly like you did, try to act like, "Oh yeah, I remember you," even though I don't have any idea who you are, the guy in front of me looks over, waves to him. Though they know each other. The guy's waving to the guy in front of me in line.
Nice. Good.
So
good.
Anyway.
Well, you did good to not make a big old show about it, because I would 100%. Listen, when you got a big old nose like I got, when you got this big giant nose, people just think that I look like everybody. I get it all the time.
People think I look like everybody too.
Hey,
I get that all the time.
"Hey, Nick, how are you?" "No, man, I'm Chris." "Oh, my bad. I'm sorry." "No, it's all good. Happens all the time."
No.
So you got a big nose, and they're like, "Yeah, he does."
Yeah.
I'm like, "I'm just the nose, man."
Hey, tell Nick I said hey.
Yeah, mine might be a little more crooked than his, but we both got the hump on the nose and all that stuff. Yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah, it was. I didn't make a big deal or anything or a big show about it, except for the color of red that my face turned. I'm sure.
Oh,
I'm sure that got
it.
some attention from people. But
I guarantee it.
Anyway, that was a very embarrassing thing, but kind of a similar thing.
I was not embarrassed at all.
No, you're never embarrassed, but a little bit sometimes.
No, it can happen.
Name something that's happened that embarrassed you.
I don't know that I can think of one off the top of my head, but I know that I
put you on the spot.
I have felt that blush before, where your face gets a little warm. I felt that feeling. Most of the time, I make people feel that way, which is extremely fun to do.
I can vouch for that.
Yeah, I think I've done that to you multiple times on this show.
Whatever. Yeah, that was fun. That was another story from last night. That was really funny.
Great game. Great game. One more. So we talk about the 3-ball, and everybody when they shoot threes, how annoying it is when, like, Lance Stevenson does the 3 guitar, or he does the you see the 3 bow and arrow from different guys. I found that we got a new one yesterday. We had 3 really excited, uncoordinated white guys in front of us who continued to try to dance during the game. Well, one of them was trying to dance like if there was a dunk by the Pacers, and he was really excited and looked really weird. Anyway, he came up with a new 3 call. So he would put his his three in there, and he would wave. He would make the wave with his three fingers. Goofiest thing I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, that guy was.
I love fans. Fans are so weird.
Yeah, no, fans are we've talked about this before. Sports fans are the worst people in the entire universe. But this guy was this guy.
He was at the top of the list.
This guy was really something. And for me, more than anything, he was sitting directly in front of us, and he had to stand up for everything that happened.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, man. I mean, you have to stand up every single time they make a shot? Really?
Yeah.
You're the only one in this whole section that's doing that.
Yep.
So anyway, he was in the very first row, by the way.
Wonderful person. So there you go. Did we say who the next I'm just jumping all over the place today. Had a couple cups of coffee right before we did this, so I'll probably be up till 4 a.m.
Ouch.
So did we mention who the next nickname the next NBA nickname game was?
I think we did, didn't we? Pistol Pete Maravich.
Oh,
number
the
5
Admiral,
seed
the
versus,
nicest guy in the world. That's right. We did
nicest
say
guy in
it.
the
All right. So there you go. So yeah. So what do you think about this LeBron James team?
I think last night they were
worst team ever.
The Pacers looked incredible. They
Sure.
really played really well. At the same time, the Lakers. It's one of those things. Was it really bad defense or really good offense? It was a little of both. It was a lot.
offense.
It was a lot of really good offense. It was some really. I mean, from the Pacers.
Yeah.
Really good offense.
Sure, from the Pacers. Yeah, they shot the ball incredibly well from three.
I think they set a franchise record. It was like 17 or 19 threes or something like that. And a lackluster performance, a lackluster effort from the Lakers on defense, I think.
Yeah, there was a lot of lackadaisical defense, but this is the thing. They must have turned the ball over 100 times. They kept trying to do these little slip screens where they'd come up to set a screen, and as he would slip to the basket, they tried to dish the ball between three defenders, and I don't know. It was terrible. It looked like nobody on that court knew where the other person was going to be. Multiple balls thrown completely in opposite directions of where the guy was going. This team has a long way to go, and I don't know if it's everybody's got their LeBron's just back, so they got to gel again because that's a very polarizing figure in your offense, or if they've got this in their head, like some of them think they're going to be gone. It's hard to stay focused when in the back of your mind this team's about to get rid of you.
Yeah, and I think last night everybody still felt like that was a definite possibility. After today, it sounds more like it's not going to happen.
Yeah, this Anthony Davis trade, which we'll move into the Anthony Davis trade right now. Tomorrow's a trade deadline, 3:00, and it pretty much seems like they're going to wait to see exactly what Boston has to offer with Tatum, because Tatum seems to be the key ingredient to it, especially if they watch the Lakers last night and they say, wow, so that's the core group of guys we're going to get for Anthony Davis. We're going to look like that every night. Nah, I'm good.
Which is why New Orleans is asking for the 3 young guys and four first-round picks.
4 first-round picks. Unbelievable.
That's too much. If I'm the Lakers, that's too much to give up, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I know it's Anthony Davis. I would listen to every argument you want to make for Anthony Davis being the best player in this league right now.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that.
I wouldn't give you my 3 best young players and 4 first-round picks. That's too much for me.
No. You turn yourself into a not washed up, but a I don't even like to say veteran team. I mean Tyson Chandler. It will be okay. Veteran would be right.
Veteran team.
Maybe washed up veterans in there. I mean Tyson Chandler. Come on, man. JaVale McGee. I mean he's when you are the most watched Shaqtin' a Fool, then you're probably there's something going on.
He's in the Hall of Fame.
Exactly,
Shaqtin'
no
Hall.
doubt. And Michael Beasley. Michael Beasley, by the way, speaking of, we did a worst hair in the NBA poll. Michael Beasley was top seed in that, and I don't know if he won or lost his first round or not. But that dude should automatically get an MVP of the tournament. Last night, 3 different hairdos throughout the game.
Yes.
Came out warm-ups with pigtail dreads. Then during the game, just took them down, dreads dangling. And then halfway through, after halftime, he's got a ponytail of dreads. This dude is a phenomenal haircut machine.
That was a lot of fun. That was fun. I was glad we noticed that.
Yeah,
because I normally don't pick up on stuff like that, but we noticed it, and I was like, man, that's the third
hairstyle for Michael Beasley.
Anyway, yeah, that was.
Besides the fact he's washed up veteran as well. There's just a lot of older guys that would be left if they got rid of that core, and I don't think this team is good enough to play with it. Even if you bring Anthony Davis on, you're going to have to sign you're either going to have to bring a lot of two-way players up, or you're going to have to sign a lot of ho-hum guys that just aren't going to fit
this season. Right, this season. Now, they're trying to do this deal so that they clear enough space where they bring on Anthony Davis in a trade, and they have enough space to sign a third star,
sure.
a third max guy. So Durant, Kawhi Leonard, whoever you want to talk into signing.
Yeah,
all the guys that are free agents this year, Kyrie, bunch of good free agents this year. But that's kind of the idea. But this year, yeah, you make the Anthony Davis trade this year. I don't think that's going to do anything for you in the playoffs.
No, you're going to be terrible. I mean, you might make the playoffs, but you're not going to do anything. Now, next year, obviously, like we said, it's going to be something. But it's not going to I don't think there will be a trade for Anthony Davis by tomorrow's trade deadline, which means it won't happen until July 1st? July 1st. That Boston can make an attempt to make the trade. That's when Kyrie's deal's up. So anyway, and then a lot of things come up with Kyrie and what can he do, and will he go to LA if he becomes a free agent? Blah blah blah. It is what it is. This isn't AD. There's not going to be a trade for AD. Although there's a lot. Everybody's putting their best offer on the table right now, and I think they're just picking them up. They're going to put them in a file, and they're going to say, "Talk to y'all one more time in July."
The Lakers, so there have been so many reports over the last 3 or 4 days of trade offers that the Lakers have made to New Orleans, and it's hard to even keep track, and it's hard to tell which ones are real and not.
Yeah.
I find myself having to actually just go directly to like Woj's Twitter page and like the guys, the top NBA writers, to make sure to get the information from there, because there are so many different pages on all the social media sites that are claiming all these deals and stuff, and you don't know. Some of them seem like they're not real.
Yeah.
Anyway, but we do know that the Lakers offered a ton for Anthony Davis, and 3 or 4 different offers. And New Orleans either said no or ignored. They're not even answering some of them.
The best is you're in trouble when you're not even getting a counter offer.
Yeah. And so, I was surprised at a couple of them, because I'm like, man, that's a pretty good.
Gave up a lot.
Pretty good deal. But I think it's smart. It's the way they should handle it. Wait until the off season, then.
So will AD play the rest of the year?
Yes, I think he will. They kept him out tonight. He's actually finally available. He's been out the last 9 games, I think, with a sprained index finger or something like that, which sounds like a lot of games to miss for that. But he is available tonight. Alvin Gentry said, yes, he's available tonight, but we are not playing him until after the trade deadline. So he specifically, came out and said,
just being honest. So good for him. Well, I don't know how much he's going to play. He's going to play limited minutes the rest of the year, because now this is your franchise, not the player of who's going to be with you forever, but this is your next 5 years of what are we going to get in return for him. So I wouldn't trade him. I wouldn't play him. I'd find he's a little injury prone anyway.
Although the Mavericks and Knicks proved that you can trade a star in the middle of his ACL rehab.
Yes, exactly.
When the Knicks traded Kristaps
Porzingis. This trade, I'm sorry, finish who the trade was. What the trade was. Yeah, 4.
Oh, so it was Porzingis, Tim Hardaway Jr., and the third guy from the Knicks was
I couldn't even tell you.
No, it was light-skinned guy, the shoot, I'll get it. For
I believe you.
to the Mavericks for Dennis Smith Jr. Trey Burke was another guy from the Knicks to the right. Yeah,
You're killing me.
I know.
All right, so it doesn't matter. Here's the deal. Kristaps, that was kind of the surprise. So we go on Wednesdays. Thursday morning, this trade goes down. And, I mean, this is one of those things where if it would have happened Wednesday, this probably would have been most of the show talking about, I mean, what
DeAndre Jordan was another.
there you go. What the Mavericks are trying to do with bringing in Kristaps Porzingis, it's like they feel like they're going to do everything they can to replace Dirk Nowitzki, right? I mean,
I guess.
I mean, you just got to get as many European big white guys that can shoot, and until you can find a replacement for Dirk.
Yeah, I mean, they're really, really excited about Luka Doncic right now. I mean, Dirk's an afterthought right now.
How much fun is it going to be to watch Luka and this Kristaps Porzingis? I mean, these two, it brings the Mavericks back into a contending team again.
Well, we'll see.
I mean, until Kristaps comes back, he's got to come back and play
and be as good as he was before. Yeah,
which I totally believe that he can do.
he may. Yeah. I mean, I thought the Mavericks were going to be better than they are, and they're not bad. They're, I think, a few games under 500, but I thought they might have a chance to really do something. Dennis Smith Jr. has not been the kind of player people thought he was going to be so far. He's only in his second year, I think. But and I thought DeAndre Jordan has underperformed quite a bit this year. I'm a big DeAndre Jordan guy, and he's not played that well. But anyway, so which is why he is the Knicks are likely going to – he's probably going to clear waivers, and they're going to release him.
Yeah, they'll probably release him.
He'll get a chance to get on with somebody, probably a contender.
Good, which would be good for him because that might be what he needs. But so Luka Doncic, I can't even say that dude's name. Luka. I'm just going to call him Luka for the remainder of the Nosebleeds lifetime.
Luka, Giannis.
Luka and Giannis. Luka is this kid. I like him a lot, and I know that you like him, but you don't like him as much as everybody else does. You don't think he's all-star starter worthy.
No, yeah,
and all that. But I think this kid's a lot of fun to watch, man.
Mm-hmm.
And he's fun. He's got personality. I'm excited, and I think Kristaps Porzingis and that kid together could be a lot of fun. I think Mark Cuban's got his next little Dirk fix for a while.
Yeah, I'm not a Mark Cuban guy myself, but as far as owners go, very good owner.
I'm gonna tell you right now, if you're a player, that's the dude you want to own your team.
Yeah, I cannot stand watching the guy. I can't stand listening to him talk.
Yeah. He kind of reminds me of the guy who sat in front of us at the Pacers game.
Yeah, he's
stand up and yell weird things all the time for no reason.
Yeah, he just rubs me the wrong way.
If that dude was in the first row, the guy who was in front of us last night, if that dude was in the first row, he would have been as bad as Mark Cuban.
He would have been the Mark Cuban.
He was yelling at one point in time, screaming at the top of his lungs. We were in the third. Yeah, we were in the third. The second row, the third deck. At Bangers Life Fieldhouse, and he is screaming like he's actually talking to one of the referees. That dude does not hear you.
No.
Why are you doing this?
No.
Oh my God, you're annoying the hell out of me. Anyway, besides the point. So the Porzingis, I'm kind of excited about that.
It's interesting. It's going to be interesting to see how that all plays out. The Knicks. Obviously, they're just making deals now to try to clear as much space as possible to be able to sign some free agents. By the way, Anthony Davis did come out. His agent came out with his 4 teams that he is willing to sign.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Who were the 4 teams?
It was the Knicks, Lakers, Milwaukee Bucks, and the Clippers.
The Clippers, huh? Oh, man, the Bucks. See,
yes.
Man, him and Giannis together, he's got...
Yeah,
I don't know how that one fits. I don't like that fit. I don't like that fit.
It seems like I wouldn't be totally sure how that's going to fit. But you know that he did play with DeMarcus Cousins the last couple of years too.
Yeah, but the way that Giannis attacks the rim with ferocity, it is. Oh, how about that? Attacks the rim with ferocity. I feel like Stephen A. Smith right now. The way that he attacks the rim with ferocity. Man, I'm going to continue to say that because I really like the way that sounds.
Do it.
So the way that Giannis attacks the rim with ferocity, it kind of plays against a guy like Anthony Davis, who likes to play a little bit under the basket, back to the basket, and then at the same time can get out and kick, and he's not going to have the time to move inside, outside, and make things happen with a guy like I just don't think with a guy like Giannis that would work the same as it would with a guy like LeBron, who also does the same and can attack, but he's a little slower now, and he's more of a not a ball hog, but a point guard in the offense, and he's letting things happen, and that gives Anthony Davis time to find the best spot on the court to get the best shot.
Yeah.
I don't know if any of that makes any sense.
No, it does. It does. LeBron is definitely a very different player. LeBron is, when he first came into the league, he was a lot like Giannis.
Oh, 100% when he first came in. He's not the same guy now, that's for sure.
Super athletic freak and would attack the rim and finish all the
with
time
ferocity?
around the rim. With ferocity, if you will.
Is it ferocity or ferocity?
I would say ferocity.
I think it sounds better.
So they were similar players. You're exactly right. I agree with you that LeBron, and we saw it a lot last night. In fact, I thought LeBron was way too passive.
He was extremely passive. It almost looked like he was he still, even when he was jogging down, it looked like he was kind of babying that groin hamstring area, like he didn't want to go full bore. He was very passive, though. I completely agree with you.
Which is interesting because his first game back was last Thursday, and he had like 26, 13, and 9 or something like that.
Yeah.
And they won, and then he took the Saturday night game off against the Warriors. So he had 4 days of rest in between that game where he came back the first night.
My man tightened up a little bit.
Tore it up. Maybe, I guess so. But he just looked like he was kind of favorite.
I think AD's best fit would be LA, personally. Not just because I love LeBron and want to see great things happen for LeBron. I just truly believe that.
Yeah, I mean, I can see him. I do have a hard time seeing how he would fit in Milwaukee. And from what I understand, Milwaukee and the Clippers are kind of just like show teams or whatever. It's really between the Lakers and the Knicks, and it's really the Lakers.
Right, but and I think a lot of that is to let other teams out there know who are putting these pieces out on the table to try to get a trade with New Orleans. If you're not one of these 4 teams, don't expect me to be with you for more than 1 year.
Exactly.
It's gonna be 1 year and I'm gone.
Including the Celtics, who seem to be the front runner to possibly be able to make an offer that the New Orleans Pelicans will accept this offseason. But
it's a complete chess game because the Pelicans want the best trade value. They want the best trade they can get. But the best trade they can get is coming from a team now that Anthony Davis has made it pretty clear that he's not going to re-sign with if he goes there. So in what world do you want to give up a Jason Tatum and your whole core of young players for Anthony Davis if you're not guaranteed to keep him?
The Celtics have, I think, 4 first-round draft picks this year.
Why would you want to get rid of all that for somebody that you're going to have for 1 year?
That's exactly where I'm at. I think it is pretty clear, unless they're really convinced that...
I would love to see the Celtics get to that July 1st and say, nah, man, we're good. We got nothing we don't even want to give you anything. Or here you go. Here's 2 first-round picks. You give me AD for that.
And then they'll say no, and they'll go back and forth a couple of times, and then it'll be, okay, Lakers, make me the same offer that you made me, 5 months ago, and we'll figure something. I guess we'll just take it now.
Now the ball's in the Lakers' court.
Right. Yep. It's gonna be interesting. Like you said, the trade deadline is tomorrow, Thursday at 3:00. You might be listening to this on one of the other outlets, and it may be today, or it may have been yesterday, or whenever you're listening to this.
Whenever you listen to it.
It's going to be exciting, man.
Thursday, the 7th.
Thursday, the 7th.
February 7th is the trade deadline, 3 o'clock.
There were several trades made today. There was another one last night. The next biggest one that's been made so far, that there were 6 players involved. Essentially, the biggest one is Tobias Harris going to the Sixers. That's another interesting one that I'm not sure the fit is there. That a lot of people were saying, I feel like I'm hearing a lot of, okay, now this is another move the Sixers made that's going to put them right at the top of the Eastern Conference there. I'm not sure, man. He's kind of Jimmy Butler, Ben Simmons, Tobias Harris, Embiid.
You have a whole lot of non-position players.
Yeah, I mean Embiid's a pretty clear center,
yeah.
but Simmons is a point guard in a forward's body. He's 6'10" or whatever. But he can't shoot the ball at all. Great passer. So he's valuable on the offensive end, but not nearly as valuable as he would be if he could shoot the ball at all. He might be the worst shooter in the league.
I heard somewhere he's been trying to shoot with both hands now, just to try to find out what handed he might be best at shooting.
I mean, Tristan Thompson did that at the free throw line a few years ago,
yep.
and he started making free throws at a better percentage. But I don't know. It's going to be. I hope it works out, because I'm actually excited about the Eastern Conference this year in the playoffs.
Oh yeah, there's no doubt.
You have 4 really good teams four teams that legitimately could come out of the East, and I think that's going to make for a really fun quarterfinals. Hopefully, all 4 of those teams end up there.
I'm going to tell you, I'm looking forward more to the NBA offseason this year, because you got Kawhi, you got Kyrie, you got this AD stuff. There's a lot of things that are going to happen this offseason, and it is going to be fun. The NBA has made the offseason fun. Like baseball this year, it's been a little slow. Not a little. It's been very slow. The Reds have made some moves. To be honest, nobody else has really made any kind of moves. And that is what the NBA has done with this. And you call it collusion, call it whatever you want. These players running teams now, deciding, telling teams where they want to go, where they're going to be. Put it out there. Here's $50,000. Now Anthony Davis, he paid that $50,000, and every single day he's now talking about where he wants to go. Thank you to New Orleans. We appreciate it. I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. NBA
I enjoy it. It's becoming fun.
I feel like the NBA. I'm very biased, by the way, of course. But the trade deadline, the off season, even the draft. I mean, I get way more into those things in the NBA than any other sport, and I love baseball too. But it's just, I don't know. The NBA just makes it so exciting, and NBA Twitter. If you're on Twitter, I don't know that there's anything better on Twitter than like NBA stuff. It's so much fun. They do such a good job of marketing and making it like really buying into that stuff.
Sure, yeah.
So anyway, it's fun, so we can move on to our next thing, but because we're finishing up the basketball talk, I have 2 swipe left, swipe rights for you.
Let's do it.
Swipe left, swipe right. You would trade the Cincinnati Bengals for an NBA franchise?
A swipe right, I would. Now, most people in Cincinnati, I mean, that's a hard swipe left for most people, but I would. People are starting to get a little more excited again because they got a new head coach. They got the quarterbacks coach from the Rams, so that happened right away on Monday, which I know you don't like that.
Yeah.
Give the guy some time to celebrate, but that's just how it goes, man. It's work. You know, it is what it is. So he's announced. We got a new, that's. It brings a little excitement in. People are talking about, will Kyler Murray be there when the Bengals come up and stuff like that. Him and Baker Mayfield playing each other twice a year would be fun. But no, to be honest, yes, I would rather have an NBA franchise here than the NFL. Don't get me wrong, I love the Bengals, but if you're going to make me choose, I would take an NBA team.
I'm sure that's a pretty easy.
I know what
right
you're
for
doing.
me.
Yeah, you could care less. Yeah, you're 100% there. All right, what's your next one?
Last one I have is swipe left or swipe right. The Miami Heat are retiring Chris Bosh's jersey.
Are you serious?
In March.
I did not see this. Swipe left. Listen, to me, that is sacred, man. Like the Yankees, I feel like have way too many retired numbers, although they've had a lot of phenomenal players. But the point is that is sacred. Like, you have to be a top, I don't know, I want to, not even 1% of your franchise's history. You have to be like the top 0.1% of what that franchise's best players were. And Chris Bosh is not any of that. Chris Bosh was a role player on a championship team for 5 years. That's it.
He was an all-star, maybe a superstar in Toronto. And then,
that's fine. If Toronto wants to retire his jersey, go ahead.
Right.
But how he was, that's like LeBron or like Michael Jordan having his number retired by the Wizards. Like, he was not one of the greatest players in Wizards history. He was
yes, he is.
Well, okay. Maybe he was.
And that says more about the Wizards' history.
Exactly than it is about Michael Jordan. But okay, so maybe that's not the best example, but you know what I'm saying. Like,
number 23 should be retired throughout all of the NBA, just like number 42 is in MLB.
I completely agree. I think they should retire LeBron James's number. I think that should always be. I think it should be a number retired by the entire NBA.
Yeah, that's not exactly what I was thinking, but we'll go with that. Yeah, but anyway, the Chris Bosh thing I thought was interesting. It raised my eyebrows.
Swipe left. What do you say?
Right away I would have said swipe left.
You're thinking about it.
He averaged 18 points and 7 rebounds.
Woo, man! Yeah. Oh, killer!
Right,
what an unbelievable player.
But if you look at his production before he got there, all of his numbers went down as soon as he got the very next season.
Well, you went onto a team with
LeBron James.
Well, it's LeBron and Dwayne Wade at that time, because LeBron wasn't the LeBron we know now when he first got to Miami. That was not the same LeBron James as he is now.
He was better then.
He was a better player, but the crunch time stuff, and he got some
the
clutch gene that everybody said he didn't have. It wasn't the same guy. Don't get me wrong, he was the best player in the universe at the time, and Dwayne Wade was probably in the top 3 players in the NBA at the time. But Chris Bosh wasn't there. I mean, what are you going to do? Sorry, you become a role player.
You did because of LeBron James. So, and that's why,
But he didn't put the numbers up. You don't put the numbers up, brother. You got to put the numbers up to get your jersey retired.
But he only didn't put the numbers up because he took a backseat to LeBron.
Sorry about your luck.
Well,
I'm not saying that he wasn't a great player and that he wasn't a huge part of those teams, but he's not jersey retired great.
It's an interesting thing, yeah, because he ended up playing 6 years there, which he played 7 in Toronto and then 6 in. So basically half of his career he did end up playing. And what's funny is I didn't realize it, but the 2 years after LeBron left, he played 2 more years, partial seasons, because he had all that trouble with his heart and everything, the stuff that made him have to end up retiring. But his numbers actually jumped back up in his age 30 and 31 seasons with the health issues. Yeah. His numbers went up
because he got to play. LeBron. He got to be Chris Bosh again,
right? And so that's interesting to me, and that kind of.
I'm not going to retire your number off what you could have been. If that's the case,
but it's what he was though. He
was in Toronto.
He made himself a better player for the team by not being the same player he was in Toronto.
That's awesome. That is a great team player. That is exactly what I want of a teammate. That is awesome. But am I going to retire your jersey because of it? No, I'm not going to do that. So I'm just saying on that side of things. Retiring jersey is, I mean, let's be honest, that's one step better than the Hall of Fame. Not every Hall of Famer has their jersey retired, right? Not every
I would hope they would, because, well, not every team does that. Not every team retires jerseys like that, I don't think.
I think a lot of teams. So there are teams that retire jerseys of guys that aren't in the Hall of Fame, but there are Hall of Famers that don't have their jerseys retired. So, I mean, dude, it's
The Hall of Fame is
that's
above.
the top of the top.
I mean,
You're right.
Zadrunas Ilgauskas has his jersey retired in Cleveland. He's not a Hall of Famer.
I just don't understand. Maybe the NBA. Maybe I don't understand the NBA as much as I think of baseball, where when you get your jersey retired, that is as sacred a thing
It should be.
as there is. And maybe I think of it specifically that way because I'm a baseball guy. You're a basketball guy. I'm a baseball guy. That is how I think of it. But maybe I don't see it the same way. I didn't know Ilgauskas had his number retired there.
More and more players like that are getting their jerseys retired, which is odd to me. I'm with you. I think it's strange. I think you have to be like an all-time great.
They're
in
not
your
going to have
franchise.
numbers. There's not going to be numbers left if Ilgauskas is getting his number retired.
No one will
There's
ever wear number 11 again for the Cleveland Cavaliers.
So crazy. I mean, if that's the case, then they should. Then they're going to have to retire Kyrie Irving's number. They're going to have to retire. I mean, Zildjian, you almost got to retire Anderson Varejão's number if you're going to retire Ilgauskas' number.
DeJuan Wagner,
Ricky
Ricky Davis.
It's crazy. It's ridiculous. Anyway, besides the point.
Okay, so
let's get on
move
to our
this,
last
yeah.
thing. So our last segment, our last topic of the night. I know we got some people out there that were hoping to listen to it, listen to what we had to say about the new rule changes that are being put out there in the NBA. So, my man, what do you think about? You're going to have to give them to me because I've heard there's been some crazy talk about these rule changes. I haven't seen all of them. I've heard some things. So you tell me what they are. I'm going to go off the cuff and let you know what I think just first time I hear it.
So right now, it's just Major League Baseball, the owners speaking with the Players Association about these possible. So these are rules.
Here's my question though. Before we start this. Mm-hmm. Are these rule changes they're talking about could possibly go into effect this year?
Yes, as soon as this year, possibly, but not all of them.
I'm going to take that into consideration as we talk about these because that's going to be a big part of it. Go ahead.
Okay, so and this isn't from each side, or this is collectively both sides have made offers and counter offers, not offers, but suggested these rule changes that makes more sense for them, especially the Players Association. They want certain things. Number one, the biggest one, is the designated hitter in the National League.
Okay, so I thought about this a lot because this is the only one that I actually paid attention to that I had actually heard about. I used to hate the DH. I thought it was not baseball, things like that. Saw something. I didn't see it. I heard it. Somebody was telling me the number of pitchers that came to the plate and their batting average was a total of like 1.4 or something like that, which is to me has always been part of baseball. I think I'm starting to come around to being okay with the designated hitter in the National League, as it just being part of the game, the way pitchers are used now. I'm coming around on it. I'm not a fan of it, but I'm coming around on it. My thing for this rule is you cannot bring this rule into effect this year.
No.
There are too many teams that have formed their teams around the way that the National League is set up now. The DH has become when we first had the DH, you just took somebody off the bench and threw them in the game. That's a position now. Like there are people like a guy like Matt Kemp. The Reds traded for Matt Kemp, and they are constantly putting him out there in some of these trade rumors that they got. It was kind of a turnaround thing. Get Matt Kemp, maybe possibly get something for him, send him to an American League team where he can DH and play a little bit in the field. If that's the case, and they bring DH to the National League, now all of a sudden Matt Kemp's my DH. I don't know who else. I'm keeping him on this team as a DH. So it's a big part. I don't like it this year. I think if you're going to do it, you say, okay, in 2 years we bring the DH into the National League. You can start forming teams around it, thinking about what you're going to do. But as of right now, I hate that, and I hate it because I always hated the DH. Always hated the DH. I thought that wasn't baseball. Pitchers moving runners over, learning how to bunt. Let's be honest, man. I'm trying not to be the old man. I'm trying hard, dude. It's hard. Like right now, I'm going back and forth with myself right now about this. It's hard. I don't want to be that old baseball guy. I want to be the new guy that gets things moving. I think it'll help the game.
So do I. I'm 100% with you on this. Even as far back as saying, I used to say the DH isn't baseball. Everybody that plays in the field bats, including the pitcher. I'm not so much that anymore. If you don't want the DH in the National League, then take it out of the American League. I want it either way in both leagues.
I mean,
I'm fine either way.
It is fun sometimes to see the American League have to hit their pitcher in the World Series. It's a cat and mouse game, things like that. But the National League teams are at a disadvantage when they go to an American League park and have to use a DH because they're not set up that way.
Correct.
Which is probably a big reason why the American League has been so good as of late.
Yeah, and Tyler Roop, our guy Tyler, mentioned this. Pitchers this past year hit 116.
Oh, I was off by 30.
And it was an all-time low batting average and OPS for pitchers ever.
Yeah.
So I mean,
I'm okay with it. Don't do it this year.
Right.
Give me 2 years. But I'm okay with it.
Okay, good. All right, so moving on from there, pitchers have to face a minimum of 3 batters.
No, I don't like that.
Okay.
I think that's stupid.
Okay.
No, it's your bullpen. Use it how you want to use it. I don't think you. I don't. Call me old school or whatever. Listen, the left-handed specialist has become such a big thing in baseball. I like that. I like to have that guy. I need one guy to come in and stop, I'd say Joey Votto, but it's just as good against lefties as he does righties. But, come in against a lefty and do what he needs to do. I do not like the fact that you would tell me there's a minimum number of hitters that my guy can face. No, if he goes out there and he struggles and I see something against that first guy, and I shouldn't have to be set on him pitching out there for the next 2. If I'm not comfortable with him, if I see he doesn't have his best stuff, I shouldn't have to be able to leave him. I don't like that. I don't like it at all. Don't tell me what to do.
Well,
don't tell me to buckle my seatbelt. Tell me I have to do this. Don't tell me I have to do any of this stuff.
You
should buckle your seatbelt, but don't tell me I have to.
You have to. It's the law.
That's what I mean. Don't make this a law. Don't make this a rule.
But
I buckle my seatbelt. Mom, Dad, I buckle my seatbelt everywhere I go.
But the seatbelt should be a law, and you should be told to buckle your seatbelt.
I'm gonna get myself in trouble by saying all this. It was just just saying something. Anyway, so what do you think?
The 3. Well, let me go into this. The minimum of 3 batters goes along with 2 or 3 other rules they're talking about. As the big thing the last few years has been trying to speed up the game, right?
Okay.
And we could get into a whole debate about that. But aside from that, that goes along with 20-second pitch clock, which we know Rob Manfred's been talking about for a few years now.
What's it at now? What's that pitch clock at now?
I don't know that there's really a pitch clock. I think there's just an in-between batters. I think there's 25-second thing or whatever.
I thought that was the same deal.
There's also so the roster is going to expand from 25 to 26, but you can only have a maximum of 12 pitchers.
Okay,
so that's
whatever.
one of them.
I'm fine with that.
Maximum 12 pitchers, along with the pitch clock, along with the minimum 3 batters, going from 6 mound visits to 5. All of those things together are trying to limit the amount of times guys visit the mound, pitching changes. Those are the things that they're trying to do to speed up the game.
Okay, so me, myself, and I. This is what I think. And I've said it before. I don't mind long baseball games. I could sit and watch a game all day, TV, at the game. It doesn't bother me. But I understand speeding up the game. It's the way the world is now. It's now boom, 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 boom. Let's get it, go. Let's go. So the pitch clock or whatever, how much time in between pitches, I'm good with that. I don't care about that because that is what it is. The mound visits, 6 to 5. I mean, they're going to find a way around that. Number one. Number two, what is the punishment going to be? What's the punishment if you can have 6 mound visits and I walk out to the mound a 7th time? What's the punishment?
Well, you can't. The umpire just wouldn't allow it.
So you're telling me if I'm a catcher, all right, I'm Buster Posey, and I got Angel Hernandez behind me.
Well,
and I stand up and I just walk out to the mound. What's Angel? He's going to grab my belt? There's got to be a punishment. No, if I get out of my crouch,
there may
throw
be
it back
a
to him and take off and go over there, what's the punishment? So there's got to be I say punishment,
consequences.
Consequence. There's got to be something that happens. Is it the next pitch is a ball? I mean, what? There's got to be something.
Maybe there's an out or something like that. Yeah.
Well, it won't be an out because that would help. That would help the defense.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's either going to. I mean, you can't just let the guy go to first base if you do. I mean, maybe you do. I don't know. That's
maybe
pretty,
it's like a balk. I mean, everybody advances.
Okay, but if there's nobody on base, well then sure, I'm going to take that there.
Right.
That's my thing. I need to know what the consequence is. 2, I don't really care about that because if I'm a catcher and I want to talk to my pitcher. I'll just find a new way to do it. I'll come up with
yell to him from the plate.
No, it's signs. You do everything's in signs anyway. Mm-hmm. If I need to go out there and calm him down, if that's the whole point of it is to go calm him down, or if you got to go over, say there's a guy on second and you feel like he's getting some signs and you want to switch things up, then you just come up with a new sign to indicate you're switching signs. I know it sounds crazy, but it's doable. That's what would probably happen. So whatever, limit it. But tell me how you're going to limit it. Because if I want to go visit the mound, I'm going to go visit the mound, and I'm going to turn around to Angel Hernandez. I'm going to tell him to stick it up his backside.
Ejection. That could be a consequence.
Oh, well, that's what I mean. How severe is the consequence going to be? If the guy gets a ball, okay, whatever. I'm going to walk out and go talk to him then. Yeah. If he gets first or I get ejected, then yeah. Or the pitcher gets ejected, then sure. It shouldn't be the pitcher. It should be whoever goes out there. But, yeah. Anyway, what do you think? The pitch clock I'm okay with.
That makes sense to me. We do have to, and I don't think they've talked about that, at least not that I know of, what the consequences are. But I think it has to be something like that. If you're going to be serious about it, there has to be a consequence, and it has to be something meaningful.
That's like me looking at my son and saying, hey, if you don't stop standing on the table, I'm going to come over there and bust your butt. And then he stands on the table, and I just keep saying, I'm telling you, I'm coming over there. I'm going to come over there. And all night long he stands on the table. I'm not doing anything. Yeah, it's a rule, and I'm going to tell you not to do it. But what's the consequence? There's got to be something there.
Sure. Yep.
Typical millennial parenting.
I'm fine.
That's exactly what baseball's trying to do.
Millennial parenting. I'm good with speeding up the game a little bit. I do, and I think we're the same. We still do have some of that old school. You
need to.
About it. Yeah.
You need to. But you can mix it. Mix it up.
We don't want to take away the strategy of the game, but on the other hand, I'm open to making some adjustments, and some of these are fine. I'm fine with these. If you make them work and it doesn't affect the game too much, then I'm okay with it. But it's I don't know. It's tough. You're gonna have to.
I really dislike the telling me I have to throw to three batters. I really dislike
I understand
that.
it. I understand
they don't want you to continuously bring in new pitchers, but if I put a guy out there and he just doesn't have it, and I can see right off the bat, that's malarkey that I have to sit there and wait for him to throw to two more batters.
Well, that could happen any time with any guy, any night.
In what sport anywhere are you, when you put someone into a game, you have to keep them in the game for a certain amount of time? None.
Probably none. I only know the rules of like 3 sports, so I don't know. I mean, maybe in cricket you have to stay in for like 2 pitches.
Cricket games can last for weeks.
Oh yeah. And that's why. See, that's exactly why they need some of these rules to speed up the game.
You talk about speeding up a game, cricket's the wrong one. I'm gonna tell you that right now. You can be at bat in cricket for like 3 days, just one guy at bat.
Yeah,
I really don't know how it works, but I'm pretty sure that's how it goes. Anyway, that's besides the point. That would annoy me. That would greatly annoy me. What's the next one?
Here's another one that they've talked about the last couple years, and it says specifically here that they would have to try it out in spring training in the All-Star game first.
And I like that they do that. Or they'll put it in the minor leagues and let them get going on it.
Yeah, but any extra inning every half inning in extra innings, they start with a runner on second.
That's a tough one for me. Like, they do that in softball to make the game go softball. How goofy is that? Talk about men playing slow pitch softball, which I loved for so many years. Anyway, that's what they do in softball. You get into extra innings. Sometimes they have that rule where you start with a man on second.
Well, that's because there's another game waiting to start.
Sure, and that's true. But I don't know, man. I don't think you give someone a runner. I don't like that one. I'm not there yet. I'm still too old school for that.
I'm exactly the same. It's funny how much we agree on all this stuff.
Well, we're like the same person, you know. We're both very outgoing. We're both really set, laid back at the same time. You know, we're just the same person.
I am neither outgoing nor laid back.
No. You're not laid back?
I'm just kidding. No,
I think you're pretty laid back.
I'm mostly laid back. I'm not outgoing though.
Laid back.
So before you get into too many Snoop Dogg lyrics, the next one is, let's see. There's one that tweaks the draft order to reward winning teams and penalize perennial losing teams.
Care less about that because the Major League Baseball draft is the weirdest draft of anything. There's like 487 rounds, and you can get all these extra picks based on all kinds of goofy rules. Go ahead, whatever. Make the draft even more confusing than it already is. That's why you're the only Big Three sport that nobody watches or cares about your draft.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So go ahead, do what you want. I don't care about that.
But it would mostly affect the top, because you don't want the Red Sox and the Cubs, when they're winning their leagues, to have the first and second pick, right?
Well, they'll just start making different. They'll just start going about trades differently.
Yeah.
I'm fine with it. Go ahead, then fine. I mean, most of these teams, they are built. There's a lot of teams that are built from your own farm system, but these minor league systems are so huge now that there's so many trades that go on before these guys ever even make it up. So your best player in your minor league system that you bring up may not even be somebody you originally drafted. So whatever, do what you want. I don't care.
So it was my task to keep an eye on the Facebook live feed.
Yeah.
And Tyler Roop is working his butt off in this thing, and yeah. I gotta shoot this one out there. His punishment for too many mound visits: death by guillotine.
Okay.
That's good.
I like that. Yeah.
I mean, you will not go out for an extra mound visit.
I'm going to tell you right now.
Your head's getting cut off by a giant falling razor blade.
I am going to have some kind of markings on my body somewhere to make sure that I always remember. Before I got up the first time to go visit the mound, I'm going to turn around to the umpire and say, how many times have I been there?
Yeah.
He's going to be like, you ain't been out there yet. But don't lie to me, dude. If it's 6 or if it's 4 and I'm about to have 5 or 5 to 6, I need to know.
In fact, if the new rule,
I like my melon way too much.
If the new rule is 5, I'm just going to keep it at 3 just to be safe.
Yes, I'm never going to the mountain more than 3 times.
I like that.
You got the manager in there going, go talk to him. Nah, man, you go talk to him.
All right, death by guillotine. I love that.
That's good.
Okay, I think we just about covered them all.
I like wedgie. I think you should get a wedgie. I think
wedgie.
I think the umpire should have to give you a wedgie. I just see Angel Hernandez grabbing for Buster Posey's belt and just grabbing his jock strap and just Not like that would really hurt.
That's not even a wedgie. Yeah,
it's not even a wedgie. You're just lifting me up.
This is basically a harness.
Yeah, exactly.
You're like the Pacers mascot that gets elevated to the ceiling.
Man, I thought he was going to hit the screen when he was coming down. That dude scares me way too much.
He does it every single game the same way. That mascot is actually pretty incredible.
Yeah, that dude's
I can't stand mascots. I think they're the dumbest thing in sports. But
for real?
Oh yeah.
Oh, I love mascots. Dude, for years
worst.
that's what I wanted to do. Like
You would be a great mascot.
I always wanted
except
to be,
for like the
except for the fact that they're doing flips
Yeah,
and like
that's
stuff
what I
like
mean.
that. I can't do that. But like I always wanted to be a radio broadcaster for years. But then there was like a year or two where I thought, dude, how flipping cool would it be to just be a mascot, put a head on, never say a word to anybody, and just mess with everybody you possibly can.
You can get away with a lot of stuff in a mascot.
Oh my God,
outfit.
yes you can. I would have had so much fun with that back in my early 20s. Anyway,
that is one of those kind of fun YouTube wormholes to fall down.
Oh, boy,
because
you
there
get some-
have been some serious, like some actual real fights with people in mascot
big
uniforms.
time, yeah.
And they're like real, but you like never really know for sure because it's a mascot and they're always goofing around.
Yeah, like how much did that really hurt me punching your face with all that
But
all that cushioning?
But it's
and-
real.
Yeah.
I mean, there was I forget who it was in an NBA arena. A mascot dumped like a bucket of popcorn
the
on
Bulls guy. It was wasn't it the
Was
Bulls?
maybe
I don't know.
I
Anyway.
can't remember, but so you know exactly what I'm talking
Yeah.
about. So the guy dumped like a beer on top of the mascot head or something. So the mascot went and got like a whole bucket of water or something, dumped it on the guy. The guy gets up and they're like about to go at it, and they're like pushing
Holding
and
back,
shoving and throwing stuff at each
I'm
other.
pulling that head off, dude. I'm pulling that head. I'm
Oh,
going straight
sure.
hockey style. I'm pulling the hat off. We're going at it. Dump water on me. No.
Very last rule. This is interesting.
Okay,
you
last
mentioned Kyler Murray as a possible draft pick for the Cincinnati Bengals.
Correct.
The Kyler Murray rule is what they're talking about here. A rule that would permit two sport athletes, such as Kyler Murray, to sign major league contracts to play baseball. Like from the draft.
Were they
Being
not
drafted-
allowed to now?
Well, I think you have to sign a minor league deal, right? I
Oh,
you
I
get
get
a
it.
signing bonus and stuff
I see.
like that too.
I
but
see. So you're saying like when you get drafted, instead of having, you get your bonus and then you're signed to a minor league deal, which is like pennies, in order to keep those guys in baseball, be allowed to sign them immediately to a major league contract.
Yes.
So that's the whole deal, because the minor first off, what really needs to change is minor league baseball contracts, because those dudes make like $30,000 a year. It's some of them get really nice signing bonuses. Mm-hmm. Obviously, in the millions of dollars. A lot of them, not most of them, but a lot of them. But you are not making money as a minor league baseball player. It's just you just aren't, and I think that needs to change before they mess with this rule. But I can understand why this rule's put into place. It's for major league organizations to be able to keep to have a reason to keep these guys in baseball and not go to NFL or NBA. I understand that. Like I said, I think you need to change the minor league deals before you get into this. But if you got to do this, because if they do this, it's not going to help these kids in the minors.
What's strange about this is they're talking about this, and it's like a once every 20-year thing. Like,
But
how many two-sport
I don't know, dude.
athletes
There's
are-
a lot of guys that get drafted. I mean, Tom Brady was drafted. I just throw that out there,
But they make a decision. I feel like this is.
That's the
try to
point.
make
It's
the
to try to keep them, because what happens is they're like, all right, I can make $5 million. I can sign a $5 million signing bonus with the A's, and then I'm going to make $30,000 a year for the next, maybe 5 years in the minors. You don't know how long you're going to be down there. I mean, Kyler Murray, to be honest, only had one really good year in baseball at second base for Oklahoma. He might be a bust in baseball. Mm-hmm. You don't know that, but he's a big name. So to keep that name, they want to be able to. It makes sense, right? If you're Kyler Murray, you're going, well, I know I can play football. And I know I can play baseball. One, it's harder to make it to the majors in baseball. If you're football and you're drafted, you're on the majors, you're on the NFL roster. There's practice squad, but if you're a first round draft pick, you're not automatically going to the practice squad. If you're a first-round draft pick in baseball, you're going to the minors. Either way, you sign a signing bonus in football, and that money, you got money coming to you right off the bat for like 4 years.
Yes.
Good money. If you're a first-round pick like that, you might be and then you're a first-round pick in baseball, and you're getting a big signing bonus, but your next few years might be garbage.
If you're a first-round pick, I got to feel like you're making more in the minors than
Buddy, I'm telling you,
guys.
Look it up. The maximum minor league deal is, I think the max you can make is like $75,000 or something like that a year. It's not a lot.
But
now,
doesn't it increase as you rise in the as you rise at each level?
I'd have to look at it. I know that they're not making that much money. And it's going to take years. I don't care if you're a first-round draft pick or not. It takes a while there's very few first-round draft picks that are in the majors within a year.
Yeah.
And then even go into 2 years. Still very few.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, I would hope you can make that, $5-10 million signing bonus last year.
Of course, but that's not the point. That's not the point. The point is, I know I'm going to make this money for the next 5 years in the NFL. I'm only guaranteed my bonus here. Now, if you think you're Bryce Harper, you're going to baseball because them contracts are crazy.
Yes.
If you're Bryce Harper. But
we'll see.
If you're Kyler Murray, I don't know. I don't know that. I was looking at his numbers. They weren't all that spectacular, to be honest.
Yeah. Well.
Anyway, what do you think?
I don't know.
Or maybe that sheds some light on why they're doing it for you.
I guess so, but I don't know. It seems like a rule for like such a rare occasion. I don't know.
It's not as rare as you think. I think they're trying to get more kids into baseball, and when you see these big contracts and everybody's like, you ain't gonna make that kind of money, what your agents are telling you, when you get into college, and now you can get into college and the agents can say, look, hey, I say baseball. They're gonna you make a big name in football and you got a name, Tim Tebow. You're Tim Tebow in the Mets organization and you're making $40,000 a year in the Mets. No, they're gonna sign him. They're gonna find a guy and they're gonna sign him to a major league contract. There's so many rounds in baseball. Of course they're gonna do this. You're gonna see it all the time.
But I feel like guys in college make their decision in college. I mean, like once they, a lot of guys.
They could have done this with a Jameis Winston. They could have done. Jameis Winston was drafted. There's a lot more guys than you think that get drafted.
But they make their decisions ahead of time. I feel like they get drafted.
Sure,
but
this would change their decision making. This would change their decision making process.
I don't know how much. I
think
feel like if you feel like you're a football player, you're going to play football. If you're a baseball
player, I'm
player,
telling you right now,
I
love baseball. I'd rather play baseball. But if you're telling me I'm going to make more money going and playing football, I'm going to go play football.
Really?
I'm making money, brother. Bring that cheddar on home.
But there's a lot more to it than just that money, though.
Not to me. Not when I'm 20 years old. Not when I'm 18 years old. I don't care. Bring me that money. I want to see all the money I can possibly see. Fill my bank account up. I'm making business decisions. Sorry.
I guess that would be a business decision. But all the stuff they know about, if you're choosing between football and any other sport, all the stuff they know about football, the effects it has on your body.
Look at these guys. It hasn't changed. It hasn't really affected football, buddy. These kids are still coming up. They're still doing their thing.
But a lot of people were talking about retiring earlier. Some guys have retired earlier.
Sure.
I'm telling you, I think it's gonna change more as we continue on to the future. The fewer guys that could be great football players are gonna choose something else or just not play football because they want to be able to live their rest of their life and not have CTE when they're 50 and that's
just what I think. All right, so we're at like an hour and a half here, so we got you're done on the rules. I'm done on the rules. So if you are listening still to us, we're here every Wednesday night, 10:30 ish. You can also catch us Thursday mornings on iTunes, Apple Podcasts. You can get us on SoundCloud. We're on YouTube. I'm looking at Adam for help because I can't think of them all. And the new one is Spotify. So Castbox, check it out. Get on anywhere. We'll be on. If there's somewhere else, I'm trying to get on as many as we can. Figure it out, but I'm not the most electronically youthful.
You've done an incredible
person
job
on
with
this.
that
So
far.
definitely check it out. And yeah, anything else you got, brother?
I know we shouldn't jump back in here, but Tyler did look this up while we were on here, and the AAA minimum is $2,150 a month. I mean, that's a decent.
$2,150 a month.
Well, it's not. Okay.
That's not even $30,000, man. $2,150. There's 12 months in a year.
12 months.
What are you thinking?
I wasn't
of?
thinking about months. I don't know what I was thinking about. Yeah, there are only 12 months. You're right.
That's terrible. That's what I'm talking about. That needs to be changed before you get into changing, in my perspective. So hopefully that helps you see what these kids are thinking of when they think I might have to spend 5 years in the minors. There you go.
That's fair.
There you go. It's fair. This will be a topic of conversation later because I think you need to understand how it works before you make a judgment call on that. All right. So he's Adam Schmidt. What's your Twitter handle, tweeter box deal?
Adam Schmidt 44.
I'm at Sick With It, SICWHITTIT, and don't forget to turn your headlights on.